What in the LARP is going on? Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It's Sunday morning. Do you know what a LARP is? Live action role play. Would you be surprised if I told you most of what you see on the mainstream media is a LARP? That's right. They see what they want you to see. You see what they want you to see. The narrative they want to be told. There's all kinds of examples of it in the media today. Here's a good one. This one's a lot of fun, and it's very current. The killing of Charlie Kirk back in, what was it, September. Erica Kirk. The whole thing. TPUSA and the funding and through the jigs and the real. And when it happened, I did a video called The Birth of the Conspiracy Theory. Go back and watch that. I could spot it from day one, what was happening. And here we are, months later, and it's not a cut and dried, simple story, folks. As you'll find with a lot of other LARPs, operations run by secretive organizations for whatever their nefarious purpose is, they all have certain things in common. Let's just look at Erica Kirk. Well, her parents both worked for the government, Department of Defense federal agents. Erica, as a young up-and-comer, well, she's been on dating shows and this and that, and government-produced sort of propaganda training films she's shown up in. Isn't that odd? She pops up in Romania as a member of a charity. Do I have it written down? Yeah, the Romanian Angels charity. Well, don't you know that charity became under fire for allegations of some very bad things, including the movement of small humans, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And the way Charlie died and what's happened since, and if you don't know, I mean, we could talk for 24 hours straight and not cover it, but take a look online. I recommend X. You'll get some very interesting information about Erica Kirk, about her parents, about Charlie, his funders, his donors, that shortly before he died, don't you know, he had a bit of a falling out with, and I mean, it was worth an awful lot of money. And the way Erica Kirk has just, you know, danced and twirled her baton through the morning period and took over TPSA. And you want to know what a LARP in real time, a conspiracy in real time? If you want something to pique your interest, take a little look at that one. that's just one of the LARPs going on as we speak. As we speak. Candace Owens, the reporter, has done a lot to reveal this LARP around Erica Kirk. She's also exposed another one. Have you seen her work on Bridget McCron? If not, just, search Candace Owen, Bridget McCron, take a listen to what she has to say. Well, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Kind of like the LARP the Obamas have played on us for decades. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that itself, if you want to tie it to things that are coming out right now with all the released files that we've all been looking at, isn't it funny? Isn't it interesting how all of these people in positions of power, whether it be government or banking or industry or the tech sector, they've all got a pretty sick, twisted view of themselves in the world, and a very sick and twisted appetite, let's put it that way. You can only say so much on YouTube. What they're doing, and what people have said for years, and everybody said, oh, that's insane, that can't happen. That's not true. It's true. It's all true. Because these people that run the world, I mean, they're demons. They're demonic. You wouldn't do these kinds of things. You wouldn't act this kind of way if you were in any way, shape, or form normal. It just doesn't happen. It's, all the leaders, you look at any of them. Our present leader, Carney, he's mentioned a whole bunch of times, tangled up with Epstein. Our previous Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, bing bang, there you go. You look overseas, Keir Starmer. There's pictures of him as a child in the company of Britain's one of their worst offenders, Jimmy Savile. There's pictures of Keir Starmer, his ID card, and he was at some kind of, it was like a university work program, something or other in the, in Eastern Europe, in the Eastern Bloc at that time. And he was, he was a lefty way back. But that's not the worst thing about Keir Starmer. I mean, we know his strange relationship with his major funder, Ellie. We know the whole Rent Boy scandal that they try to hide and they won't tell you about, but it's still there. Like I said, the Macrons, even if what Candace Owens says, and pictures don't lie, that Brigitte Macron, it was more like Bert Macron, even if you didn't believe that, the story that they put out, the LARP that they put out, is almost as bad. Is that she was a school teacher and she was like 40 years old and he was this young 14-year-old student and she fell madly in love and the rest is history. No. That's PDF behavior. If you're 40 and going after a 14-year-old, even in France, I don't think 14 was consensual. But yeah, so, I mean, even the way they try to candy coat it is still disgusting. But yeah, all these world leaders seem to have a bent for this kind of depraved behavior. There's like a thing I put up as a thumbnail the other day, a guy holding a sign saying, you don't need a list, it's all of them. And that is true. And that is true, and that is something that, you know, we gotta come to grips with. And we're facing that kind of a real huge issue with the royal family right now. Andrew, everything, his place in the Epstein files, wishing he could be Epstein's pet. He enjoyed his company so much. The things they got up to. You really have to look at this, and you cannot rely on what the MSN is saying to you, because they are not going to show you the files. Go on X. You can read them for yourself. That's, I mean, you know, if you don't want to look at it, you know, don't blame others for, you know, don't call other people crazy if you won't confirm the information yourself. That's just, I mean, as hard as this is, and as awful as this is, it's a fact. And even with Andrew, I mean, LARP Central right now, we know what he got up to, and it's hilarious because I've talked about his apologists in the past. They're squirming a little bit, but still holding fast that, oh, he's innocent of anything, and that picture means nothing. He's crouching over a girl like a wolf, but oh, maybe they were just practicing CPR. One of the most prominent apologists for Andrew and highest society apologists for Andrews, you know, she sees nothing wrong with that photograph. No. Wouldn't even entertain that something untoward, as he likes to say, might have happened. No. I mean, come on. Why do you think the royal family is squirming the way it is? Why do you think the king is trying his best to tuck him away? Because the people have had enough. I've told you stories about Andrew going back to his teenage years. Some things are more well known than others, but there's a lot of information out there. He was a freak from way back. Lost his virginity at 11 years old to a prostitute. That'll tell you something, and his wife isn't much better. Her father was a freak and a degenerate. What brought him down was getting caught in a massage parlor in the process of getting a happy ending. And that ruined his career. But even the way he treated Sarah and the way that she grew up, it's enough to turn your stomach. Enough to turn your stomach. The nickname he had for her. Just look up Andrew Lowney, Fergie's father's nickname for her, because he's the one that brought it out the first time. I'm not even going to say it on here. Can you imagine? It's that foul. So, you know, they're all freaks. They're all degenerates. They're in positions of power, so they can do whatever they want, and pretty much, you know, who's been arrested? That'll tell you. Andrew will never be arrested. let's talk about Andrew. Here's a LARP. So the whole thing, he's heading off to Marsh Farm, but while it is in the throes of renovation for his arrival, things just heated up so much that the king decided he had to banish Andrew immediately off to Sandringham. So we had pictures of moving vans in Sandringham. That's a setup. That's a LARP, because Sandringham is private and owned by the king, and and workers and stuff were there on ladders and things. The king would have had to approve not only the workers being on site, but the photographers taking the pictures. Because it's private land. It's not like Windsor Great Park where people can just drive around, and if they happen to spot Andrew driving, they can snap a photo because it's public. Sandringham is completely private, and that's one reason I think the king wants to kind of house him there, because he's out of the public's eye. Nobody's going to spot him. Nobody can come on the land, and drones are not allowed, so they'll be able to keep him under wraps. But so yeah, we heard the other day, a few days ago, that he was whisked out of Royal Lodge and sent to Marsh Farm under the cover of night, so as to avoid any photographs or publicity or anything like that. And this was after last week. There was pictures of him and I can't remember, it was Beatrice or Eugenia, I think it was Beatrice, riding horses in Windsor Great Park. And then funnily enough, just the other day, they brought out another picture of him. They had the picture of him riding his horse and then driving around Windsor. And this was just too much. Put William over the edge, and William had him shuffled out there in the middle of the night off to Sandringham. There's a problem, though. Look at Andrew on the horse. Look at him in the Range Rover 2 days later. Did Andrew gain 40 pounds in 24 hours? Psst. That's not Andrew. That's a LARP. That's right. They've done something. Andrew has either fled to the Middle East, in my opinion, or the off-world options come into play. And if you haven't heard about that, take a look a few videos back, and what I spoke about the other day as well. So here we are. LARPs abound. Seeing is not believing. You have to actually put a critical eye to things and watch what they're saying and watch what they're doing and actually discern what you're seeing and do a little bit of research. You cannot rely on what the mainstream media is telling you. You cannot rely on what His Majesty's press office is telling you. It's a LARP. And it's going to get even more interesting, so stay tuned. I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, hype this video if you can, and leave me a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.